Hey guys, Master Studios here, how y'all doing? So just in case you guys don't know, when it comes to Ninjago, episodes 14 and 15 of Crysatlized are currently out in English, well, sort of, and in today's video I'm going to give you guys my review of episode 14, The Spider's Design. And when it comes to this episode, while I don't think this episode was as bad as episode 13 was, there was still a lot of stuff in this episode that I honestly didn't like. So let's just get into the whole situation. So the episode started off continuing on some stuff from the prison storyline, mainly with Hound Dog McBrog and a couple of cops showing up at the monastery in order to impound the Destiny's bounty because it's one of the ninja's vehicles, and so Hound Dog McBrog is taking it in as evidence. Even though the ninja never used the Destiny's bounty at any points in order to do all the stuff that they did, so I'm no legal expert, but I don't think this means that it can be impounded. But again, I'm no legal expert, honestly, so if any of you know more about this stuff than I do, please tell me down below in the comment section. It would be appreciated. It's also revealed that when it comes to Hound Dog McBrog, him and the cops stop by the mailman, and they end up taking the ninja's mail in order to deliver it to Sensei Wu and the others. And as it turns out, Hound Dog McBrog actually opens the mail, which is illegal. I guess Hound Dog McBrog didn't know that opening up someone else's mail is actually considered a crime. So yeah, this guy's a policeman, and again, he would be charged for this. Just want to point that out. Also, when it comes to Sensei Wu, he makes a very good point to Hound Dog McBrog, pointing out the fact that when it comes to ninja, they are heroes who have saved Ninjago countless times. And this is a big reason as to why I've been saying that the prison storyline when it comes to Ninjago honestly isn't that good. Because exactly, the ninja are heroes who have saved Ninjago so many times. And the reason why they were doing all the stuff they did in the first place was to save Nia's life. That's why they were doing all this stuff. So it doesn't make any sense why the ninja are considered criminals and are trying to be put behind bars. So just again, Wu is making a very good point here, honestly. We then see that the ninja are still in the abandoned subway, and they're trying to find some way in order to make it to where Lloyd's last location was, so that way they can just try and find some way to get to him. And they end up coming across an old subway car, actually, and Jay has a fanboy moment because he actually used to build model trains when he was younger. So, that's definitely something pretty cool. We then get a shot of Lloyd with him being captured in the Palace of the Crystal King, where he's in a vent-stone cage being suspended over lava. And this might just be me, but that seems a bit like overkill, but then again, I'm not a villain, so I wouldn't know the basics of capturing a hero. Harumi then shows up, and Lloyd then talks to Harumi, saying how she can change her mind and how she doesn't have to do all this stuff. And Harumi entertains this thought, only for it to be revealed that she was tricking Lloyd, which, yeah, that makes sense considering that was Harumi's main thing during seasons 8 and 9, manipulating Lloyd, just so you know, there's that. And then when it comes to Lloyd, he says that when it comes to Harumi, she doesn't want to see innocent people get hurt as a result of the stuff that she does. And I just want to point out the fact that when it comes to Harumi, during the second episode of Season 8, she literally murdered the Emperor and Empress of Ninjago and couldn't care less about either one of them. And plus, during the Season 8 finale, as a result of the Only Titan Rampage, a bunch of innocent people most likely did end up dying as a result of Harumi's actions, and she basically said that she wanted this to happen. Like, Lloyd brought up the fact that innocent people were going to die, and Harumi said, this is only the beginning, which to me implies that she wanted innocent people to die. Plus, not to mention, given how many times Harumi has tried to kill the ninja during seasons 8 and 9, like, Harumi's perfectly fine with murdering innocent people if it means that she can get her way. Like, that's just who Harumi is. Harumi then asks Lloyd if he thinks that he failed her by not being able to save her from the building that collapsed, and I just want to say when it comes to Harumi, Lloyd was on an entire other building that was far away from the one that you were on top of. Plus, not to mention, you treated Lloyd terribly all throughout the events of seasons 8 and 9, and in general were a horrible person. Like, Lloyd wouldn't have any reason to try and save you. I just want to point that out, really, so it makes sense that Lloyd wasn't able to save you. Both because of where he was at the time, but also because of what you did to him. And when it comes to the whole failing thing, that yes, she is a little ticked. So, there's that. We also get a pretty interesting moment into where once Lloyd brings up the whole thing of innocent people getting hurt, and again, like I said, when it comes to Harumi, she's perfectly fine with that. We then get a moment where Harumi's eyes start to glow a pinkish purpley color, and this is and into a lot of debate when it comes to the fan base as to what exactly this means. Either A, Harumi is being controlled and influenced by the Overlord and he's making her do all this stuff, or B, Harumi actually got powers from the Overlord and this is basically giving her increased strength. And to be honest with you guys, I definitely fall into the camp of thinking that Harumi has gotten powers from the Overlord. Because when it comes to Harumi during Crystalized, she is acting no different than how she was during Seasons 8 and 9. She is still acting the exact same way, trying to do whatever she can in order to take over Ninjago and make Lloyd's entire world into a living nightmare by any means necessary, and she doesn't care what she has to do or who she has to hurt in order to get and where she is. And I mean, heck, also when it comes to the whole situation, and if this is the case that Harumi's using powers that the Overlord gave her, well, Harumi did the exact same thing during Seasons 8 and 9, using the power of the Mask of Hatred to once again further her own goals. So Harumi using something else's power in order to just do what she's doing, again, Harumi's not acting out of character at all, and it makes total sense that she's acting this way. And plus, I just don't think it would make any sense that Harumi's being influenced by the Overlord, considering, again, given just the way that she was during Seasons 8 and 9, and the fact that she's acting no different now, like, again, her being influenced by the Overlord, it wouldn't make any sense, honestly. And plus, why would the Overlord feel the need to mind control Harumi if, again, she's the exact same way she was during Seasons 8 and 9? That wouldn't make any sense. Plus, also, as we can see when it comes to the other members of the Council of Crystal King, after they get their crystal armor stuff, they also end up having pinkish purpley eyes, so it's something that's not exclusive to Harumi. All the members of the Council have this exact same thing going on. And I highly doubt that all the members of the Council are going to be controlled by the Overlord. Now, I've been saying for a while that when it comes to Harumi, I consider her to be the most evil and irredeemable villain in the show, and that there's no good in her, and that she cannot change at all. And when it comes to this next scene, it basically proves my point, essentially. Pretty much everything I've been saying that Harumi cannot change after everything she did during Seasons 8 and 9, yeah, that's basically all thrown out the window. This one moment basically proves my entire point. Because when it comes to Harumi, she basically recreates the worst day of Lloyd's life, where what Harumi ends up doing is revealing that she plans to kill the original 4 ninja once again, just like what happened during the Season 8 finale, and then attack the monastery and basically kill everyone else up there. So basically, again, she's recreating the worst day of Lloyd's life, but on a much greater scale. And when it comes to Harumi, she is very clearly enjoying all of this. She loves seeing Lloyd suffer and feel pain. And when it comes to all this stuff, saying stuff like, I can't stop it, but I won't. And like, she does say sorry a few times, but there's no way that she feels bad about doing any of this stuff. You can tell it when it comes to Harumi. Again, she loves doing all this stuff, and she wants to see Lloyd suffer for basically no reason at all. And Harumi ends up activating the spider bombs and ends up blowing up the subway spot where the ninja are in, and they're just barely able to escape because they get into the subway car. So again, when it comes to Harumi, she forces Lloyd to watch the death of his 4 closest friends once again, and once again when it comes to Lloyd, it causes him to break down into tears and start crying. After this moment, there's no way that Harumi can be redeemed when it comes to the show, and the storyline can be done well. Literally, after just this one moment, and again, everything that Harumi did during Seasons 8 and 9, and how much she hurt not just Lloyd, but just Ninjago in general, there's no way she can come back after all this stuff. Harumi is far too gone after this. She can't be redeemed, especially after she's doing something this traumatic to Lloyd. It can't be done. Harumi isn't gonna change. After Harumi forces Lloyd to watch the death of the 4 original ninja again, she then tries to get Lloyd to join the Council of the Crystal King and fight on their side. And I'm no villain, but yeah, I don't think killing for the people who are closest to the person who you're trying to recruit onto your side is a good idea. If anything, that's going to result in the opposite of what you want, and they're going to be more against you. But again, I'm not a villain, and so hey, what do I know, honestly? We then get what I can only describe as a genuinely satisfying moment, as Lloyd basically taps into his Oni power, breaks out the Venstone cage, and engages in a massive fight against Harumi where he's not holding anything back. And honestly, just after everything that Roomie's done to Lloyd during the events of the show, it is just so satisfying seeing Lloyd fight against Harumi and not hold back in the slightest, honestly. Because Harumi, again, she put Lloyd through so much pain and suffering. And honestly, it is just so great to see Lloyd fight back against her and basically get some revenge after all the terrible stuff that she did to him. And again, this scene is genuinely amazing. Both because of what this means for Lloyd's character, but also at the same time, just the animation during the scene is really good, and just Wildbrain's animation in general is really amazing. But during Crysatlized, it is just so amazing, and even better than what we've been getting so far when it comes to Wildbrain seasons. Lloyd then eventually stops using his Oni powers because he realized that he's tapped into it a bit too much. Then Mr. E shoots him right in the back, and then that's where the episode comes to an end. So, what are my overall thoughts on this episode? I think that when it comes to this episode, it was decent, honestly. Like, there were definitely some moments that I thought were done pretty well, like Wu making a really good point into Hound Dog McBrog, seeing some stuff involving the ninja, and again, that genuinely satisfying Lloyd and Harumi battle, that was amazing. But at the same time, there was some stuff that I just genuinely really didn't like that much, mainly just some more of the police stuff, but also a lot of the things that involved Harumi. And again, like I said, when it comes to Harumi and what she did to Lloyd during this one episode, again, there's no way that Harumi can be redeemed after she's done something like this to Lloyd. And again, if the writers do end up giving Harumi some kind of redemption arc during the storyline, just again, given what she did here, there is no way that it can be written that it's done well. Just after what Harumi did here, that redemption arc is going to be so forced and unnatural if the writers decide to give her one after what she's done during this episode. There's no way that it's going to be able to work at all. And so that's pretty much all I got for you guys. So tell me down below, what do you guys think? What were your guys' thoughts when it came to this episode? Tell me down below, and I hope you guys enjoy. Later, guys, this is Dimension Master Studios, signing off.